Hi, and welcome along to the All Guns Blazing podcast. Myself, Robbie, and the man himself, Mr. DT. Have you been? I don't even bother to ask that question no more. Have you been behaving yourself? Because I know he never has been.
Nah.
Listen, before we get into the podcast, man, how did you get into a big row with Lily Allen? Lily Allen on Twitter. I mean, come on, man.
You know what? You know what? That was one of the most weirdest arguments ever. It was, look, at the end of the day, right, I always see Lily Allen pop up on my Twitter feed, and it's just, someone's either retweeted or whatever. But wherever there's something going on in the world, she seems to be there. And she seems to be.
So do you.
Yeah, I have been lately, but no, it was over Chris Eubank Jr. After his fight, and he, he was doing his interview, and a couple of the ring girls walked behind him.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you watch it, those ring girls, right? They have a job. Their job is to walk around. They hold the cards up between each round, and they've got to look fancy and everything else. But while the interview's going on, you could see exactly what they were doing, which was going behind and just trying to get their face on camera. They were not doing their job or anything else. They were just trying to be be on camera. So obviously, Chris Eubank's dad, Chris Eubank, Senior, he's come along and just moved them out of the way and just said, and then the next day, Chris Eubank Jr. has put a tweet up just saying about my dad has a particular set of skills, along the lines of the film Taken and stuff, and he will find you and he will pie you. And people that don't understand what the word pie means, it's basically another word for just, palming you off sort of thing. And Lily Allen just started on him and tweeted him.
And then you jumped
and no, because what annoyed me was the fact that she had a problem with Chris Eubank Jr. and what he'd said. But then she started slagging off his dad.
What's that got to do with
you?
Well,
how can you slag off a man's dad?
How you get involved with Lily Allen?
Because she sat there and started cussing his dad for no reason whatsoever. How can you say that about someone else's dad when your own father...
All right, let's not get into it.
Yeah, that's what I tweeted. That's what I said.
Controversy on this
no, we're not. Right. But that's what I said. I just tweeted
her. I don't want Lily Allen on my case.
Nah, man. We'll get her on the podcast. All I said to her...
No, don't say
No, let me say what I said.
No.
Can we put a screenshot of it up?
No, you could go to his Twitter account and find out.
It was all right. Everyone agreed.
Listen, let's get into football, right?
Yeah.
Do Arsenal have any cojones?
No.
That's what Troy Deeney said after the game.
No.
At the weekend, 1-0 up, he comes on, game changes. They ended up, whether it's a dive or not, they end up getting a penalty. He scores. They win the game. After the game, he said, I knew we would win this game because Arsenal lacked the cojones, which basically means that Arsenal got no balls, Arsenal got no heart. Do you agree with him?
Yep, 100%. Don't know why there's even a debate about it. We haven't lacked balls in years. Mertesacker says that he doesn't pay attention to his comments and stuff like that. Well, maybe if you paid attention, you wouldn't be turning your back on shots. You wouldn't be ducking at crosses. This would never have happened in the older days. You wouldn't see Tony Adams and players like that and Martin Keown letting players bully them. And, as far as I'm concerned, that's damning on us as a club. On the whole team, the management, the whole infrastructure, it's damning. When Troy Deeney, let's be real, he's not a skillful, technical, amazing, world-class footballer. He's a very old-fashioned, industrious player. But he used his strengths to his benefit on that day. And he said, as soon as he came on, he was like, right, I'm going to kick one of them. Let's have a look. And when you were growing up, back in the day and stuff like that, and you're playing on your local parks and everything else, give them a kick. See if they want it or not. In the first 5 minutes, let's see if they want it. So he gave him a little kick. Thought, oi. And he even said, he went on, sat on Mertesacker. He said, a ball come in. He said, Mertesacker didn't even jump for it. And he thought, yeah, I've got a beating of you today, mate. Rest is history.
It's pretty damning, isn't it?
It is. It's damning. It's damning. As much as Arsenal might want to paper it.
Because when you look on it like that, right, if he's thinking that, he can't be the only player thinking that. That means that really and truly what he's saying is, we're not scared of Arsenal.
Yeah.
And one of the things that with Arsenal used to be is like, when we went to places, teams were scared of us. Now, do you think that's one of the reasons why we've been so poor away from home in particular?
Probably.
In that when Arsenal are going away to places now, there's no fear factor in the teams. They're like, if we get stuck into these guys today, we're going to get a load of joy.
Yeah. And that's it. Unsettle the rhythm. Stop us playing football. Sit up to 2 sets of banks of 4 and just frustrate the life out of us and smack us a few times. And it seems to be, what everyone's doing. We already know when we go to places now, you see it all the time, even at the Emirates. Teams just come and sit back. And you can sit there all you want and go, it's negative, it's boring. But it works. Against us, it works. Because we ain't got a plan B to get around it. Every now and then we do get results and whatnot. We get bullied. Would Troy Deeney have got away with that on Saturday with Vieira, Keown, even Bergkamp, Henry? You think Bergkamp and Henry, 2 of the most graceful players you'll ever seen in the Premier League, just world-class, amazing, technical, but they could have it. They were nasty bastards as well.
And that's another criticism of Ozil.
I can't believe this, man.
You walk right into it, but I've got to ask you, no. Because, you've brought up 2 great examples there. We're
Probably
talking about,
no.
hold on,
No.
we're talking about guys who've got no cojones, right? And he is one of those that, listen, we know that on the ball, graceful, skillful, incredible player. When he doesn't have it, and this is what I've been saying to you over the past couple of weeks, when he doesn't have it now, you just mentioned, guy, I remember Bergkamp. He could have it. Even though he was very similar to Ozil on the ball, but off the ball, mate, trust me, he'd leave a foot in there and let you know what I mean? And players knew that. So what is it with guys like Ozil and that they just don't, I don't know.
Maybe it's the modern footballer. Maybe it's the modern football because you can't really tackle like you used to. You'll never get a Vieira or a Roy Keane anymore because you won't get away with it. You look at half of the tackles that they used to make, you get straight reds now.
You just said Troy Deeney got away with it.
No, but done it in a certain way. But what I mean is them midfield battles when it was real blood and thunder, and it was just,
But it's not just though about tackles flying in and stuff like that. It's about your mentality. It's about your mental toughness. It's about, we're not losing today. All right, you know what? You've got to go back for a penalty. It's about somebody in that team then turning around to all the players and saying, you know what, we've just been flipping robbed there, man. That was a dive. You know what, we're going to go at the other end and we're gonna show these. Where is that in the team?
I think the biggest problem with that on Saturday was the fact that we couldn't do that even after they equalised because we had no creativity. We didn't have no creativity from the start. We played with 2 defensive midfielders. We went to Watford and played 2 holding midfielders. This was not Man City we were playing. We were not just trying to shut up shop and play a counter-attack game. We were playing Watford. Let's be, real about it. And you went with 2 defensive midfielders. And then there was the whole thing that happened with Jack Wilshere about to come on. But then,
let's talk about that.
He should have started. He should have started. At the end of the day, the guy, Arsene Wenger said last week that he's not seen him look this good, this sharp in years. But yet he still can't get a start. And it's not like our midfield is just dominating right now. It's not like our midfield is just playing amazing football. It's not, it's not Man City's midfield, is it? You could sit there and go, well, there's a reason why he ain't getting in the team at the moment because, look, could he do any worse than what them have been doing so far? No.
I couldn't understand.
So how can you say this about someone, get all the fans kind of thinking, right, okay, yeah, maybe this is the one.
Because from the start of the game, you know what? From the start of the game, fans were singing his name, Super Jackie Wilshere. I don't think they were, in the first half, I don't think they were singing it as if to say, right, bring him on now. They were singing it because they were so glad to see him on the bench. They remember how he played against Bati Borisov. They so wanted him to get on at some stage during that game. Yeah. And then he doesn't get on. And even when we was about to bring him on, we changed our mind and bring on Rob Holding instead. Yeah.
And the whole thing was just a farce. We had no creativity. You look at it's about game management. So that's where you need your captain and stuff. You have to look at it and say, you know what, it's been a bad day at the office. Let's get out of here with a point. We're not creating anything going forward. I don't need £8-10 million a year to see what I could see in that last 10 minutes. And that was that Watford was sending us this way. They were on top of us. They hit the post just before they scored. So there was a warning sign already. I could see that they were setting us on the back foot. We had no pace up front to counter. We had no creativity to counter. So it needed someone within that team to say, right, listen, needs must. It's not the greatest of results, but let's get the fuck out of here with a point and we move on. No.
And that's where the Cojones come in.
Exactly.
That's where you want the players to stand up.
Let's be real, Robbie. When's the last time we had a captain? A real captain? Not Koscielny, not Mertesacker. When was the last time we had a real captain of this team?
Wow. Fabregas was captain.
Van Persie was captain.
Van Persie was
but I mean, a real
they're
captain.
They're not captains.
When did you have a Vieira?
When did you? Maybe.
But he didn't hardly play. He had a great first year, but then when was the last time we had a captain like Vieira? And then after him, there's probably Henry. That was it. But when have we had a captain?
Not since then.
So how can we be classed ourselves as a big club if we can't even get a captain?
And we've always got this same problem, isn't it? It's the same problem all the time that people look at and say they don't have that leader, they don't have, but we've never addressed that.
No. Remember what I said to you in an interview the other weeks ago it was now, and I said you could pull up interviews of mine from last season or the season before and put them on the resulting game this season, and apart from the kit, which would give it away, you wouldn't know which year that video was made. Because it all sounds the same, because it's just the same problem. All we keep hearing is Arsene Wenger's got loads of degrees, speaks all these different languages. He's managed for X amount of years. You don't know more than him. Well, I'm starting to believe that maybe some of us do, because I'm baffled by his decisions. You look at the setup on Saturday, it was wrong from the beginning. The substitutions were wrong. You're telling some of us wouldn't have made better decisions than that. And it's professionals that have played the game, won trophies, are the ones that are coming out and questioning Arsenal's desire.
Why was Alexis and Aaron Ramsey given the day off? I don't understand that either. I mean, I know, listen, both of them suffered defeats. Both of them...
Boo-hoo.
Both of them were knocked out of the World Cup, right? Alexis had a long journey to come back.
See, that one I can kind of understand because of the journey back.
Yeah, but he's given a whole day off.
But he should have been on the bench minimum.
Is it Pereira who was playing for Watford, came on at half time? He came back from Peru, right? And we were talking about this on Monday when I was chatting to you on Troops' show, and we were saying Alexis, even though some people tried to point out and say, Robbie, you're wrong, Chile's a further journey. Hold on, he wasn't coming back from Chile, he'd come back from Brazil.
Yeah, and if you remember
and this
earlier
guy's got
on...
come back from Peru, that's further.
Earlier on in the day, Liverpool played Man United and Coutinho. Now, Firmino, he didn't play a lot of minutes in the games.
But he still travelled.
But he travelled. But right. Coutinho did. And he played.
Yeah.
And they got a good 75 minutes out of him.
Jesus. Yeah. Man City.
There's no...
He started, didn't he?
Should have... I would have understood Alexis being on the bench because of the longevity and everything else. And Alexis is the perfect player that we could have brought on at 1-1 when they scored to send Watford back the other way because he would have caused loads of problems. And you would have got 15, 20 minutes out of him.
And they'd be fearful of him.
Exactly,
when
of course you would.
Fearful, they're like, Alexis has come on, we need to send someone to deal with that.
Exactly. So it's, I don't get why he weren't on the bench.
Day off? I mean,
well, there's only one person that can answer that.
Too soft on these guys.
Yeah, he's always been too soft. Aaron Ramsey, seriously, get over yourself. You lot were celebrating when England got knocked out. Yeah, we've all seen the video. So don't expect no sympathy off us. I'm glad you're out. Unlucky. Enjoy your summer. Why should I have any sympathy for these players? They get paid a lot of money. And let's remember something as well. You're paid by Arsenal. You're not paid by Wales. You're not paid by Chile. You're paid by Arsenal. So get the fuck on with it and come and do your job. I don't care. I'm really depressed and down because we're out of the World Cup. Shut the fuck up. Get on with it. Get on with it. You're in a privileged position. Yeah, a position that some of us would only dream or give our right legs for. Do you know what I mean? And you're sitting there moaning, sulking. But then part of it's them and part of it's the manager. Because he's the one who's not sitting there and saying, no, we pay your wages. We need you this weekend. You're playing. I'll get 60 minutes out of you.
I'm really surprised, to be honest.
Because there's no travelling involved with Ramsey.
No.
You know what I mean? So where they played at home the second game and it was against Ireland. They travelled the first one, but that was the game before. So there was no major travelling involved or anything. So the only reason why Ramsey wouldn't have been there is because he wasn't mentally right. And I even said in my preview before the game that I saw a tweet by Ramsey saying that it's going to take a long time to get over this, etc., etc. Yeah, okay, we all suffer disappointments in life. We all do. Get over it. I'm sorry to be so ruthlessly harsh about it, but you're paid a lot of money.
I agree.
We pay a lot of money to go and watch you. So
we got to get over it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, after games and that, when we got to travel all the way home, make the long journey home after some of these terrible defeats, we got to get over it.
You know, we're going out to Serbia, right? If we lose that game, are anyone going to have any sympathy with us?
No.
No, they'll be like, you're a fool for going there on a Thursday in the Europa, and you know what I mean? No one's going to have no sympathy because it's our choice at the end of the day. So get on with it. I'm sick and tired of this weak mentality within this team, and it just stems from the top to the bottom. It's weak. It's just a weak, piss-poor mentality, Robbie.
The thing that I found really surprising on Saturday was the amount of Wenger out chance. This early in the season. I mean, you know, that was surprising to me that, you know, the fans. And I thought some of those fans were out of order in that the players came over at the end of the game. I know we've lost.
Yep.
I know it's been a bad defeat, but
it felt like Crystal Palace.
I'm a person. I'm always calling for players to come over at the end of the game. Now,
and they were
when they
hammered.
come over, why are you going to give it to them like that? They've come over, right? You're disappointed, but you shouldn't be like us all fans here like that, and you know that's wrong.
Yep,
that's wrong.
Do you know what, Robbie?
That's wrong. That is wrong. We want them to come over. We moan and say,
I've got no problem with that. But
I've moaned before when they've come over and said, why don't you come over? And then when they come over now, you've got fans there abusing them. That is wrong.
But what you've got to understand as well is that we have created this situation. The club have created this situation. Before the season even started, you said in one of your reviews to the season, and I said in one of mine and everything else, that the one thing that scares you this season is a couple of bad results, like that. It'll switch. If there was a new manager in charge, right, and he was bringing in his own players and doing his own little thing, you would sit there and look at the Watford game and go, you know what, okay, we're going to go, we take stock and we go to the next game. Because you're watching what's going on, you're giving the guy a chance and everything else. But because it's Wenger, and because of it's nothing. And that is how quickly things can change. And, you know, I remember the chance last season started at Leicester away when we drew 0-0. And then they got progressively worse and worse and worse. They started at Stoke. And I said to you about it, and you went, really? I didn't really hear that many. Because where you were, there was only a few. But where I was, I could hear it clearly. And I said to you then, and you were like, really? Already? And I said, trust me, they're doing it. Then went to Liverpool. It was more then, justifiably, in my opinion. Yeah. And then from being not being happy at the result on Saturday, right, and thinking, fucking hell, this is going to be a draw. Because when that board went up for 3-4 minutes, I sat there and I actually was thinking, this is a draw. And you had that disappointment in your mind. But just like that, just completely turned. And I looked around me and there was just... But this is the thing, you know what it is? It's not...
Some of them can be angry at us.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is, it's not so much the chanting anymore. You have to be in it to experience it, but it's venomous. You know, it's like... If you could put Arsene Wenger in front of some of these people, they would strangle him. Genuinely, you look at it, it's not a case of you would sit there and, you know, have it out with him conversation-wise. There are fans now that if you put him right in front of those fans on Saturday, they would have throttled him. And it's just going to get worse, Robbie, because I'm looking at the team. You look at the summer. They didn't do anything over the course of the summer that made us say, all right, let's give him a chance. This was the perfect time. You gave him his new contract. You talked all this bullshit about catalyst for change. Well, if you went out there and did change, we would have gave a lot more grace going into the season. We'd have said, you know what? Yeah, he's actually done something this year. He's actually shut us up. He's gone out and bought the players we need in the positions we need. Let's give him some time. We know that a load of new players. Yeah, it will take time to build, but you know, let's see something different. We go into Liverpool, we lose 4-0. And it wasn't just one of them results where you could go, it happens sometimes in football. That was like watching results last season and the season before and the season before. And I can go right back to 8-2 against Manchester United. This has been happening season after season after season after season. And it's now got to a point where fans have had enough. Nothing that they can do can change their mindset. Nothing will change it. We're never going to win the Premier League under Arsene Wenger and Stan Kroenke. Let's be real about this now. We're never going to do it. As much as my heart and yours and everything else will go, come on, we can do it. We've got a chance. That's our heart telling us that. Yeah, that's the love of the club. In reality, our head's going, shut the fuck up. Don't be a dick. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? If we finish top 6 this season, I'll be surprised. That's how badly we have fallen. And the best way of summing it up, I watched Tottenham in the Champions League, right? That hurt like fucking hell, that did.
I was going to ask you that as a question. Have we got to admit now that we have fallen behind Tottenham? I mean, they're playing in the Champions League against Real Madrid. We're playing against Red Star Belgrade. They got the glamour tie,
Good result as well.
And they got a good result, to be fair. They did. They rode their luck a lot.
Yeah.
But they could actually have won it right at the end.
Yeah.
And they're going to the Bernabeu and everyone's talking about them. And we're no disrespect whatsoever to Red Star Belgrade, but we're going to Belgrade to play, Red Star.
Yeah.
And does that show that
Massive.
we are now behind Spurs?
We're well behind Spurs. Now, I sat there last year after we beat Chelsea last year, the whole euphoria of the FA Cup. It's nice winning trophies, but it's not that is not where we want to be as Arsenal Football Club. We should be winning titles, and FA Cup should be part of a double. FA Cup should be, I remember when we'd lose the league to Manchester United one year and we'd win the FA Cup. We accepted that as fans because we knew the following year we were going to come back and challenge hard.
We were challenging.
Exactly. So you accept that, but we're not. I sat there and said that we had a better season than Spurs last year, which we did because we won a trophy. But if you look at it properly, Spurs are progressing where we are regressing. And we're falling further and further down. The one thing I say about Spurs is that unless they win a trophy now, it will all very easily fall apart because, all this movement.
But when you look at the two teams at the moment,
miles apart.
With all that you just said,
miles apart.
With all that you just described about Wenger, with what you described about the fans being on edge and can switch easily, and then you look at Spurs, go away, get a draw at Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Been getting positive results in the Premier League, moving into a brand new stadium. Everything, if you're a Spurs fan at the moment, everything looks on an upward trajectory, innit? Everything's moving up in a direction.
They're looking forward.
Right, and then you look at us, Europa League, not in the Champions League, it's not won a game away from home. The atmosphere at the stadium, the Emirates, is not great at the moment. So you've got one team going that way, and you've got another team going that way at the moment. Yeah. And that's not going to be acceptable to Arsenal fans. I think the one thing that could really break things is we see Spurs win the league or win something, and we
imagine.
I mean, it's possible.
You imagine Spurs win the Champions League.
Oh my God!
I would. Listen,
what would we do?
At the end of the day, right?
I tell you, I'd have to get into American football or something.
It's a serious reality because at the end of the day, any team can win the Champions League because
it's bad enough Chelsea fans always reminding you.
But you imagine Spurs.
Oh my God!
And would that be the final? Would that be the final thing that makes people finally realise that Arsene Wenger's not good enough, and that he's had his chance? Arsene Wenger had his chance with the Invincibles. Arsene Wenger had his chance. His chance of winning the Champions League was in 2006. He had his chance. It was the perfect send-off from Highbury. The story was written, it was in Paris. But for some reason,
that's just stunned me. Imagine if they won it.
Oh. Winning the Premier League will hurt me. If they won the fucking League Cup, it would hurt me. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember Spurs, some of the trophies they have won.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
And those are hard.
And it was,
But then the thing is, like, a lot of times when they won trophies, we were still up there. We were still challenging.
But
there
now,
was nothing to separate the teams. But at the moment, if we're being 100% honest, even last, when I see the tactics of Pochettino, even the fact that he had a lot of team players not even playing.
Yeah.
He was brave enough
He went to the Bernabeu with 2 up front.
Right, and I'm like, when do we, there's no...
There seems to be no bravery in our tactics. There isn't. Like I said to you, Pochettino went to the Bernabeu and played 2 up front. We went to Vicarage Road and played 2 fucking holding midfielders.
Yeah.
There's your difference. Do you know what I mean? And that is how far we have fell from grace.
A bit of a depressing
That's how far we fell. That's how far we fell. Let's be real about this. I still see people out there sticking up for Arsene Wenger, and I just don't understand how or why you're doing it.
It is still early in the season, though. We do have to.
Robbie, we got less points than we did at this stage last season. And if you remember last season, we went on a massive run of about 20 games unbeaten. And we thought that start was okay. But yet we're behind last season's total. And look how that ended up.
Could we not?
No. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. Stop talking from that. Yeah, stop talking from your heart. Use your head. All right? We're not going to win the Premier League, Robbie. We are not going to win the Premier League. We are not. The most we can hope. That's the most we can. No, because again, I just think that it's settling for second best. It's not good enough for Arsenal. If for example, we won the Europa League and it was the catalyst for change and it did mean that we would have a great summer and go and buy the best players because we're now in the Champions League, then I would sit there and say, yes, it's a good season because I'm seeing that we're going to change. But why would it?
What if we won the Europa League and the FA Cup?
It doesn't matter, Robbie. This is what I'm saying to you. What is more important? Are we going to progress in the summer? Is winning the Europa League all of a sudden going to make Arsenal, Stan Kroenke and all the rest of them go, yeah, you know what? Fuck me. Let's go out there and spend big money. Let's go. Stan Kroenke's not spent a penny of his own fucking money since he's been at this football club. So why is that going to change because we win the Europa League? Of course it's not going to change. If anything, winning the Europa League, getting back into the Champions League, Arsene Wenger would have completed his objective under Stan Kroenke, getting him more money.
Let me ask you one question then, right? With what we've got now, with the team that we've got, we can't change it, right? Going forward into games, what sort of formation and team do you want to see playing on a regular basis that you think can start to turn our season around? We've got that game against Everton away. That's going to be tough.
The formation.
They've been playing poorly. Yeah. Can we go to Everton and get a result?
Don't ask me stupid questions because I don't know with us. I think maybe if we play with a formation of 8-1-1, maybe then we might have a little bit of solidity in defence.
Do you know what? Because with me, I think that Wenger all of a sudden has gone super cautious in these games. Like you said, 2 holding midfielders against. I want to see, like what Pochettino did last night. Everton at the moment have been struggling. They're having a worse season than us. They spent £140 million, right? And they are struggling.
Yeah.
I know we haven't won a game away from home, so we're struggling away from home. And I know that was the place we went last year where we got beat, and then that was the beginning of the end of our season, right?
Yeah.
Now, 2 things, I think. First of all, let's see Arsene Wenger and those players in particular, because they're the ones who, with the accusations being thrown at them about not having any cojones, have some cojones on Sunday. When we go there, first of all, put a performance in, that's standard. But secondly, the manager, I want him to be brave there. Why not play 2 up front? I would love to see Giroud and Lacazette playing together. Like how at France, you see Giroud and Griezmann. Why couldn't a similar sort of thing work with Lacazette and Giroud?
Because Arsene Wenger just won't do it.
Are we going to see Ozil, Lacazette and Alexis Sanchez on the same pitch together?
No.
I want to see a bit of bravery in Arsenal. Put 4 across the back and go for it.
Yeah.
You're up against a team that are going to be very fragile. If we got there and, and say, right, our aim is to get off to a flying start and get a couple of goals in, I think this is where we need to see if there's because it's what we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
Wherever we moan, we can say whatever we want. This is it until at least January anyway.
You're
right?
doing a fantastic job at convincing yourself, but nobody
No,
else.
I'm not trying to convince. I'm just trying to say what.
You know the thing that scares me?
What can we do? What
Do you know?
can't we-
Do you know the thing that scares me about Everton? Two things scare me about Everton: playing badly and everything else. Wayne Rooney loves to
always
score a
score
goal
against
against Arsenal. Ronald Koeman seems to always have one over Arsene Wenger. Even when he went to Southampton, you remember the 4-0 and everything else. We went to Everton last year in really good form, unbeaten in X amount of games. You know,
But they'd been unbeaten at home, and they were pretty solid.
but yet we got bullied in that game. We got the likes of Ashley Williams bullying us. You mad? Nah. You know what? I'm at the point in my life now watching Arsenal where I'm just accepting that we're shit. In reality, I'm not getting ahead of myself.
But
I'm
there's
not
players,
thinking.
the players
There's
are
players.
there,
Yeah, there's
and
players
what
there.
I'm saying is,
But we ain't got the manager.
What I'm saying is, it's time for him to, let's
Go.
be brave.
Time for him to go.
Huh? No, I didn't say. Stop trying to put words into my mouth. But I want to see him be brave. He's there for 2 years. Is this how he's gonna go out? Just like,
it is, and then he'll probably fuck up the next 2 years and decide he wants another 2 to try and rectify that. Do you know what I mean? The simple fact is at the end of the day, right? There's this talk that Mark Overmars is coming in as a director of football. Well, if that's true, then behind the scenes they're already saying that they're not happy with Arsenal this season and Arsene Wenger, because Arsene got his own way over a director of football, and Gazidis basically got told to shut the fuck up. Well, if this is going to happen at the end of the season, then basically the board are saying, no, we're not impressed. We're going to go with the plan that we wanted, which is to have a director of football. Whether it's the right choice or not, who will know? There's mixed reviews in Holland over Mars's time at Ajax and whatnot. Is he going to be another yes man? Is he just going to be there with a title but doesn't really do anything? Because Arsene Wenger's got full power. He's like Kim Jong-un, North Korea. I'm telling you, the guy's got full power over everything at that club. He runs absolutely everything at that club. I'm telling you. It's as simple as that. And you know what I mean? Kim Jong-Wenger. It's just, at the end of the day, that's the way it is. I say it how it is. And, do you know what I would really like? Do you know what? I would rather the board had a pair of balls, or Arsenal had a pair of balls, kahunas, to turn around and say, I can't do it no more. I really can't, because results this season are showing that you still can't do it. You can't get the players up. I'd rather Arsenal step down, maybe went upstairs for the next year or so, and then they brought in Carlo Ancelotti.
Can we still have a good season with Arsene Wenger there?
Top 6 if we're lucky in the league. Maybe.
Let me ask people. Let's do a vote on it. Can Arsenal still have a good season? We're still only in October, so still.
We're in October and we're 9 points behind Man City. Man City are slapping teams for fun.
Points,
I think it's 9. I can't remember. It's that far. I'm not even looking at the top of the table.
I know.
I'm looking at, when I'm talking about like big games now, I'm doing previews to the games and I'm like, right, we've got a massive game today against West Brom and we've got a massive game against West Ham. There's none of this, and we're playing Man City in a few weeks. Are you watching how they're playing at the moment? Even in that first half an hour yesterday, the way they slapped Napoli about. Napoli did not have a fucking Scooby what hit. They've only conceded 5 goals all season, and they were lucky. And then, fair to Napoli, once they got their foot settled and they thought, well, because I think they just got caught on that. They got caught. Shut up, Robbie. Are you mad? The thing is with Arsenal is that Man City literally go for our throat.
Yeah.
Our defence will open.
That's the bravery I'm talking about. That's the Pep Guardiola is there, and he's just like, we're gonna go for it.
You can score 2 or 3, we'll score 5.
Right. We know you're scared of us as well.
Yeah.
That's
and teams are right now. Teams are. They're petrified. Look at what they did to Stoke. Yeah. They went 3-0 up. They took the foot off the gas. They let Stoke score a couple of goals, and it was like they looked at them and went, nah, sorry, mate. Get brought back down to earth with a bump.
Yeah.
And then they just went.
5 passes.
Then they put 7. They got
Because you're cheeky.
slapped.
You know,
and that was a team that we couldn't score past.
Yeah.
You know, and you wonder why we're not going to win the league. You know, Man City, we lost to Watford. Man City slapped them up 6-0.
At their place.
At their place. Man City is slapping teams left, right and centre. And the way that Arsenal play football, Pep Guardiola and the Man City team must be rubbing their hands at us coming to the Etihad. I'm dreading it.
I'm not looking forward to it.
I'm not looking forward to it at all because I can see that, I can see a rank going into 2 million. Do you know what I mean? No, but all seriousness, I'm not looking forward to it because I've seen lower league teams, you know, go to these places in cup matches and put in a better, solid, disciplined performance. You know, and I don't get it. I don't get it, Robbie. I just honestly don't get it anymore. We just look like a team that's so low in confidence and that when we go 1 or 2 goals behind, we just open up. And I can see Man City absolutely murdering us. And it could be right up there with the Man United one.
Okay. Well, you've depressed me enough on this podcast, right?
You depressed me most weeks.
And the worst thing about it is that normally he chats a lot of rubbish, but I can't disagree with a lot of what he's been saying today. I mean, boy.
You noticed that because he ain't interrupted me like he normally does.
It's a bit worrying at the moment. Can Arsenal still have a successful season? That's the question that I'm asking. We'll do a little poll on it. Can Arsenal still have a successful season? Yes or no? Don't forget to leave your comments. Stay away from Lily Allen this week. Right?
Well, do you know what?
Behave yourself, yeah?
Listen, as long as you don't start cussing people's dads and stuff, it'll be all right. I'm behaving, man. Listen, we go to Serbia, we go and play in the Europa League.
Serbia, and we go there Thursday nights, looking forward to it. And
have you seen their record this season?
I know.
Played 11, won 9, drawn 1, lost 1.
Yeah, but come on, their league.
It doesn't matter. They're still winning games, and they'll be full in confidence. This is the biggest game they've had in over 10 years.
Actually, the away team that's been going in, the team that's been playing in the Europa League, seems to be a bit more, you know,
do you remember
flamboyant and go for it and want it more than the team that's playing in the Premier League. Maybe that's because in the middle of the park, Jack Wilshere's there.
Maybe, or maybe the fact that you've got some players that are a bit hungrier.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get into that first team.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of them have got to be really knocking on the door now.
Jack Wilshere.
Let's be real. Some of them are.
Jack Wilshere.
Do you know what I would have done?
Even Walcott.
Do you know what I would do?
His last performance is kind of knocking on the door.
Do you know what I would do? I wouldn't give none of them their little luxuries. I would send them to fucking Serbia, the lot that played on Saturday. I would send them into hell. Let them experience that atmosphere.
Let them sit at home in.
Right? No, I'd play them, right? And bar a few, the players that you will see on Thursday in the Europa, I would start them in the Everton game. That's what I would do. I would give them a massive reality check. Let them realise. Because they're not doing anything. Xhaka's not pulling his weight in the midfield.
Certainly, you know what? There's certainly an argument for making Xhaka play in that game. And Alexis as well.
Do you know what I mean?
And Ozil. I think Alexis and Ozil should have to play in that game.
Yeah, they should. And Aaron Ramsey.
And Ramsey.
You know?
They should have to play in that game.
The only player that I genuinely this season, I would say can hold his head high. Like I think Lacazette's done really well, new club. Yeah. But we're not playing to his strengths. Which, that's really strange, you know, Arsenal not playing to strengths. But the one player for me that can hold his head up high and say he's done everything he can is Nacho Monreal.
Yeah, he's been excellent. Yeah, I agree.
Apart from that, can't really look at a player and say, you deserve a bit of praise. Because the rest of them have been shit. And they're not good enough for Arsenal Football Club. And as Thierry Henry said, if the badge is too heavy, go.
All right, so on that, we leave the podcast today. Don't forget you can download it on iTunes. All the links are in the description. Listen, it's always a pleasure to talk to my man, Mr. DT. We'll be over there in Belgrade. Looking forward to that. And we'll be back next week with another All Guns Blazing podcast.